I want to play this audio from you. This was Nathan Zagura. He was on earlier today on Ken and Anthony, and we'll react afterwards. Here we go.
Priority one is winning now. If Joe Flacco goes out there and we're 4-1, as long as we're in the mix and Joe Flacco's playing well, I think Joe Flacco, if he has a great season, there's no reason why he couldn't start 17 games, because that means we're winning. That means we're in playoff contention. I think that, yes, you want to thread that needle, but I think Dillon Gabriel's opportunity likely would only come in the event of an injury to Joe Flacco, or if we get to a point in the season where things are not going the way that we wanted them to go. And so now let's get some evaluation. Let's see Dillon Gabriel. Let's see how he develops. And then for Dillon Gabriel, when that time for him comes, his whole goal is to make sure that he gets to keep playing and you don't see a tranche of Shedeur Sanders. I think it's possible you could see all three this year. I certainly think that if Joe Flacco, though, plays well, and this is a Browns team that goes into the month of December in playoff contention, there's no reason to think that Joe Flacco still wouldn't be the quarterback.
All right, we got like 7 things to respond to out of that, and we'll get to all of them.
I got all 7.
We'll get to all of them. I want to start with the idea, though, that priority one is winning now. And I would ask you guys at 216-474-0092, do you believe that winning is priority one for the Browns?
No.
I don't either. I have a hard time thinking that winning is, but I do understand that they are trying to do it early on, right? The idea with Joe Flacco is you are at least trying. You are putting out a front-facing, we are going to try to win as many games as we can until the wheels fall off.
Yeah, because they have to. Like, I just mentioned Joel Bitonio and Myles Garrett and David Njoku. Like, all of these guys, Denzel Ward, like, you have to have some sort of faith going into an NFL season that you're competing for something. So, of course, right now, they have to say, yes, priority one is winning now. And I think, like you said, they would like those wins to come early into the season. But if they don't, and I look at those first 6 games on the schedule, and I really like Nathan Zagura, I do, but him saying that Dillon Gabriel's opportunity may only come in the event of an injury or if things get off to a really bad start.
Yeah.
Hey, Nathan, they might get off to a really bad start. Like, have you seen those first 6 games?
I think that's why Nathan puts it in there that way. Like, it is, yes, there is the option out there that they do just absolutely stink up the joint and the wheels fall off and Joe Flacco isn't anything great. But there's also another reason why, if I've seen it once, I've seen it 12 million times in the previous 48 hours. People posting the 17 games that Joe Flacco has most recently played and the 4,300 yards to 31 touchdowns to, I think it's 18 interceptions in total. I mean, there's a reason why people are getting excited in an odd way about the prospect that maybe Joe Flacco does play out 17 games, and maybe this Browns team is better than a lot of people think.
And guilty as charged. Like, I'll put my hand up and say, like, I'm picking the Browns to win Week 1. I'm putting that out there now.
First off,
match up with the Bengals really well.
That right there has become so in vogue that I don't even think it's a hot take anymore.
Right.
I think it's the standard take that I think if you say the Browns aren't going to win, might even be more people than the Browns are going to win.
No, the Browns are going to win Week 1. However, I don't know many wins that come after that, especially when I look at going to Baltimore. Then you come back, you got Micah Parsons now in that Green Bay Packers defensive line, Week 3. Then you go to Detroit. Okay, good luck. You go across the pond, the Vikings, how they looked last year, pretty good. You come back, you 6 against in Pittsburgh, a place that you haven't won in how long? Yeah, I feel like we're seeing Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders probably after that.
All right,
Pittsburgh
but from the Browns' perspective, and I get what they're trying to do with the first couple weeks with Joe Flacco, and you can at least sell to the fan base, hey, we tried early, then we had to go to Dillon Gabriel. Do you think Andrew Berry is sitting up in his office saying winning for this year is priority number one?
No,
it's tough, isn't it?
I don't. You got to separate yourself
from Stefanski here. Just Andrew Berry.
No, I think Andrew Berry, priority number one. While they're saying it's winning, I've got another word for it. I think it's evaluating. I think they're evaluating all of this. I think they're taking as much as they possibly can, throwing it against the wall, and seeing if any of it sticks. And if not, you're going back to the well into the 2026 NFL draft.
Is it that far-fetched that Joe Flacco could get all 17 games?
Not only do I think that it's far-fetched, I think that would be a colossal mistake, right?
Oh,
I not only so I think it's far-fetched. I don't think there's a world that happens in, but I also think it would be such a big mistake.
Well, what if he's winning, though? Like the easy answer to all this and how he ends up getting 17 games is you're on a trajectory to get a 10, 11-win season, something in that respect. Now, yes, I'll cut you off before you even get to it. It turns you into what the Steelers are trying to do this year, essentially, where it's like, we're going to take Aaron Rodgers. We're really not focused on the quarterback situation or trying to figure out who can do what and what they can do. We're just going to go for a playoff win.
And sure, I'm a Browns fan. I've lived in this city my whole life. I plan on living in this whole city rest of my life. I plan on dying here.
Yeah.
I do.
I said that in a sales meeting like 2 weeks ago. I was like, I plan on dying here, but I said it that way.
Yeah, it's morbid.
The room had quite the hush.
It's
after
morbid,
I said that.
but it's true. It's true. And in saying that, I don't get to pick and choose my battles. I don't get to pick and choose when I have my playoff appearances, especially for this football team.
Mm-hmm.
If they're on the precipice of something, and if Joe Flacco has recreated the magic that he found in 2023, then sure. Continue to roll.
That's not a colossal mistake then, and it's the only way that I see this actually going where Joe Flacco gets all 17 games because he's not getting it while losing.
Correct.
You have a 3-win season. Joe Flacco's out the door, and we're not even worried about that.
And if he gets all 17, and that's because you've won, continue on with that. Go try to make the playoffs. That's why you've got that bonus first-round pick in your back pocket because then at that point you could package the 2 picks together and try to jump above at least a couple of teams in order to find a quarterback in the class that's thought to have more options at that position next season. I just do think that it is far-fetched that he gets all 17 games because I am expecting that the bottom of the bag lets loose at some point. I look at the teams, JP, that he was able to beat on that magic carpet ride that was 2023.
Yeah.
Like the Chicago Bears were actively trying to lose games.
So that was a weird game because that was a 3-interception game by Flacco. That was an odd game. You win by a field goal. It didn't look particularly good. That was an odd game, yes.
He
still threw for 300-something yards in that game,
that were not being all that serious about winning. This is a completely different situation that Joe Flacco's getting ready to step into to start this year for the Cleveland Browns. The division alone has 3 teams that very well could go to the playoffs. And I almost feel bad
at this
for
point,
Flacco
though, in the Lamar and Joe Burrow era, we basically have had that every year since anyway.
And and even prior to that, in the Flacco Baltimore,
Tomlin still has been going every single year. He hasn't been winning any of these playoff games. He's still been going every year.
Right, and in the Flacco era in Baltimore, it was the same deal with Andy Dalton in Cincinnati and Big Ben in Pittsburgh. So at some point, the Browns do have to go back to the well of the first-round quarterback and figure that thing out. I just can't get behind Joe Flacco starting all 17 because that means that I got no look at Dillon Gabriel, who the organization is trying to sell me a bill of goods on.
So where my problems would come in and where I would get agitated is if it's a 6 or a 7-win season and then he gets all 17 games. You're talking about like a doomsday disaster scenario. That's the one that I lay out. If you want to tell me, Flacco, because the defense is one of the best defenses in the NFL and you all of a sudden you just catch lightning in a bottle and you're off to the races and you're a 9-10 win team. And listen, Stefanski's got to win games. He's got to win games.
That's another layer of this.
You can't go back-to-back 3-win seasons and expect to keep your job. So, he's got to win games. He hunkers down. He gets the W's. He feels like everything's going in the right direction. And then you wake up and Joe Flacco's in there for 17 games and you really made a run at it. Okay, fine. I can live with not seeing Dillon Gabriel. I can live with not seeing Shedeur Sanders if that's the case. The problem I would have is if they try to tell us essentially that Joe Flacco being below average is going to need to play every game. That's where I'd have a problem.
No, and I get why they like Flacco. It's why I like Flacco, especially
what do you like about Flacco?
I like that he's going to be the same guy. Like we said last segment, I'm picking them to win Week 1. It's not a hot take anymore. The Browns very well could.
In fact, it's kind of like a cold take
beat
now.
The Cincinnati Bengals
when
Week
you
1.
put out Browns beating the Bengals in Week 1, I want you to know, expect you get zero traction on the internet for that.
Okay.
Because at that point, it will be cold take. So, not hot take, cold take.
So, say that doesn't happen, though, and say it goes, hilariously bad, as we've seen home openers go.
Yeah, you're still playing Joe Burrow.
I know that I'm going to get that same even keel, cool Joe veteran Week 2 in Baltimore that could at least keep the car on the road. That's what I'm looking for here. Don't swerve into traffic. Don't veer into the other lane. Keep the car on the road until Kevin Stefanski deems Dillon Gabriel to be ready. And whether that's Week 6, whether it's week 7 or week 8, technically after the bye, whatever that looks like, I like and I trust that Joe Flacco can keep the car on the road. The issue is there's no point keeping the car on the road for all 17 games. You've got to see what you've got.
Nathan said Dillon Gabriel's opportunity may only come in event of an injury. I get no impression that that's the game plan that they're having to start off this season. I'm with you. I think they want to see Gabriel. I think they're interested in what Shedeur has.
And that's why they traded Kenny Pickett. The Kenny Pickett trade wasn't because, we feel that good about Joe Flacco and his ability to start 17 and to lead us to a Super Bowl.
But Nathan,
they traded Kenny to clear the way.
This is the message now that Nathan is authoring up, though. In his mind, in his estimation, not only are they trying to win, which I agree with, but he believes there's no reason that he won't start 17 games. I want to hear from you guys. 216-474-0092. When I heard it, I was a little gobsmacked this morning. I love the perspective. Listen, Nathan usually ends up being right in these scenarios, okay? And he's got a great track record of being right. It's just interesting to think about whether or not this is something that we wake up 17 weeks later and we're like, wait, how did we get here? And he's been playing this whole entire time.
And if it gets
but I also, Nick, it's not like I really need to see Dillon Gabriel that bad. Like, we talk about these rookies, okay? I'm dying to see what Shedeur can do. Yeah, I'm frothing at the mouth to see what Shedeur can do. I'm not really. Boom! Thank you very much. I'm not really that invested in seeing Dillon Gabriel. I understand that the message in our brains is always, you got to see these rookies, you got to see these rookies. If I think Dillon Gabriel is a career backup, what am I in a hurry for?
Well, especially when the owner came out and said it, right? Like, why did Jimmy Haslam then come out and say that Kevin Stefanski knows it's of importance
I think that was Shedeur
to
based.
See the rookie QBs this year?
I think that was Shedeur
I agree
based.
with you. I think it was Shedeur based because of all of these quarterbacks, and I'll factor in Deshaun Watson and Bailey Zappi into this conversation if we want to. Shedeur Sanders remains the one guy in my mind that can become a franchise quarterback in the National Football League.
See, we got to a Shedeur conversation.
It's not Dillon. It's not Bailey Zappi. Joe Flacco was a franchise quarterback, but he pops off and wins the Super Bowl this year. You're still not signing him to a 4 or 5 year deal.
But I'm the same person that'll tell you that seeing Joe Flacco does nothing for this team and it gives you nothing, but it does give you wins. And if Kevin Stefanski wants wins, which I would imagine he does, he's veering towards that. But also, there won't be that clamoring for Dillon Gabriel. Like, I thought at one point the amount of people that would be pushing for Shedeur Sanders was going to be too large for them to ignore. But Dillon is so clearly the second quarterback. There's not going to be a major push to see Dillon Gabriel.
Correct. But there will.
It's an interesting way that they've done this.
But there will be, though, come week 7.
Joe's got to be throwing interceptions as if they're hotcakes.
And
like, he's got to be turning them over.
Remember what happened? Right. Remember what happened in Houston? Like, if they start off
the Houston game, 2 pick sixes.
If they start off 0-6 or 0-7, we will be romanticizing those couple of Dillon Gabriel drives against.
I don't think I will be. By the way,
preseason game.
You can keep me to this, okay? And you'll be doing the pregame show with Jake and yourself, and I'll be on after with Coach Riz and myself, and we'll be getting after it every single week. We'll be seeing each other every single week, and so you need to hold me to this. I might say I want to see Dillon Gabriel because I can't stand my eyes bleeding with Joe Flacco, but I will never call to see Dillon Gabriel play a game because I'm that interested and that curious to see what Dillon Gabriel's got.
Well, that tells me that you'd be interested and curious to see what he's got.
No. That is a career backup, in my opinion. I'm not going to clamor for it. I'll clamor for Shedeur to skip the line, hop right over him, and then get to play. I'll clamor for that. But Joe's got to absolutely vomit all over his shoes week after week after week before I'll turn around and be like, oh, yeah, I mean, Dillon Gabriel, I have to see what happens here.
Dude,
I get the logic. I know what everyone's going to say. Nick, you know it, I know it. We got to see the rookies. We got to see the rookies. I get it. That's a great thought. It really is the thought that everyone should have in theory. But when your rookie is Dillon Gabriel, you can maybe pump the brakes on that a little bit.
I hate to open up this can of worms, but I'm about to open it at 216-474-0092.
Gives another phone number now, too. Look at this. You've been working with Daryl too often.
Can we ask the question, why is Shedeur not the next man up? I would love. I would love.
We can't. Why is Shedeur not the next man up?
Behind Joe Flacco? Because we know.
That's going to turn into no. It's going to turn into me and you just being like, oh, we just love Shedeur so much, and that's all we want to do. It's me and you. We can't do this the same way that other people get to.
That's true.
That's right. We don't get to because we walk in and see each other and go wrist up. Okay, so we can't do that the same way that other people can. We are going to clamor for Shedeur. It'll be a time and place for us to clamor for Shedeur.
I just look at
this is not the time and place.
I'm looking towards the long-term view of it, right? And I see that Dillon Gabriel's a guy that they like. I get that. They view him as a piece of this organization for not only this year but for years to come. I get that.
Well, how does Shedeur jump the line? That's what I want to know. Because if you can carve out a roadmap where while playing no actual games, because the games are going to be able to play doesn't happen anymore. We're in the real time now. While Shedeur is running scout team and is the third quarterback, how is he going to jump the line?
Well, I don't think that he's going to be able to, but I'm saying I don't necessarily agree that this is the right way to go about it. I think it should be Flacco to Sanders.
I agree with that too.
Gabriel's a guy that you like and you want to keep around. That's awesome, and that even furthers the point that you shouldn't see him this year. You should let him back up whatever quarterback that you draft in 2026. I'm operating under the belief that the Browns are going to draft a QB in 2026. Shedeur Sanders, the one guy that could prevent that. Because if Flacco goes down or he stinks up the joint the first 5 weeks, then you turn the keys over to Shedeur and he pops for 12 or 13 games.
It's music
and then it's
ears.
like we found something. Then you've got a backup quarterback in Dillon Gabriel to go to next draft with, all right, we're going to get a left tackle. We're going to get a wide receiver for Jerry Judy.
You're speaking my language, okay? I'm not disagreeing with you. You're speaking my language. It's just the Browns have told us they don't believe in the same language that me and you are speaking right now. If we're speaking English, they're speaking Portuguese.
So what we're going to do and what the vision that I see getting ready to unfold.
Because that scenario still plays out where they have Dillon Gabriel for the backup for the 2026 quarterback, and that actually plays out in the same envisionment that Nathan had where Joe Flacco plays all 17.
Yep. And where's that? That puts Shedeur right back into the fourth, if not fifth quarterback, because if they draft one in the first round in 2026, we all know what that is. They'll say maybe that there's a quarterback competition to try to have some sort of competition go on in camp, but we know that when you draft a QB in the first round, you tailor your entire organization to that guy. So how can you do that if you're not seriously getting a look at Shedeur Sanders or Dillon Gabriel? If they really like them that much, they know football. They sit in these meetings all day. We do radio all day and podcasts all day, and by saying my
radio turns into a podcast. I don't do podcasts.
they do football all day. So maybe Dillon Gabriel is Drew Brees. Maybe he is a franchise quarterback. You're never going to know unless you see.
And I'm telling you, I don't have an appetite to even try to get there, for being honest. I need your theory of Sanders, just like it's hopscotch, just hopping right over him. That's what I need to have happen.
And I don't see it happening.
I
really don't.
There's no way it can. And so, but I do think Nathan makes a good point. If the idea is Joe Flacco plays all 17, and then into your point, where then Dillon would be the backup next year, if you never see Dillon, you can't then call Dillon damaged goods. It's something to remember in this.